In the previous video, we've looked at having flexibility when it comes to our nutrition. And in this video, I'm going to go through the key principles that make up that 80% our everyday eating that honors our goals, our health, and allows us that freedom. Because if we aren't calorie counting, but we still need to create a deficit to get a bit leaner, we're going to have some boundaries. Here comes the foundations of food key principles. Firstly, the majority of our foods want to be minimally processed. That's about 60 to 80% of our food to be minimally processed, because we are going to have still some processed food as part of our diet. And I'm going to go through in a separate video what processed food is it as bad as we think, and just help you to navigate that. We're going to have 1 to 3 portions of fruit and vegetables per meal. 1 to 2 palms of lean protein. And if you were like looking at a packet of food and wondering how much protein is that, it's 20 to 30 grams at least for 2 meals of the day. And then we want 1/4 of our plate to be starchy carbs, because we still need energy for those workouts. Also, they bring some fiber to our diet. And then finally, a thumb-sized portion of fats for health and flavor, because they're really tasty, but also we do need them for health. So if we take care of this 80%, we can have that freedom for foods we truly love that maybe don't fit into this. I'm not saying this can't fit into foods you love. And actually, if you find ways to enjoy this 80%, and it's very easy to, you're onto a winner, babes. So we're looking at non-starchy vegetables. And I'm going to send you a separate little document as to what equates a non-starchy vegetable. But we're looking at 1 to 3 portions of fruit and vegetable at each meal, because, you know, we need those nutrients. We need the fiber. It's going to be really good for your digestion. It's going to be good for your health. And if you're wondering what a portion is, it's a fist size. So it's not a palm, it's a fist size portion. We're looking at non-starchy vegetables, because often if we focus on cruciferous vegetables, they're what we really need for health. We're taking care of our carbs in a separate part of this. So if you're thinking about potatoes, sweet potatoes, we're really classing them as starchy carbohydrates. They are low in calorie, high in fiber, essential vitamins and minerals, and they're going to fill us up, because we don't want to be hungry when we are creating a calorie deficit. Yes, we want to go between meals and feel hunger when we're heading towards our meal time, but we don't want to leave our meals hungry, because that's when snacking happens and we're unsatisfied and we're hangry and we're miserable. Here are some top tips that can help you get them in. Cost effective. Nothing wrong with frozen fruit and vegetables, or canned when the canned is in juice. I think I've even seen them in water now. You don't want them in syrup, because then you're having extra additional sugar. But they are a great way to get them in. I bloody love tinned peaches, but that's me. Time saving. You can buy your vegetables chopped. There's nothing wrong with buying a bag of stir-fry vegetables if you haven't got time to chop up the vegetables. Remember, we want to make this convenient. And again, don't forget, roasted vegetables still have plenty of nutrients in them. And, you know, the different ways of cooking vegetables brings out different flavors. So be savvy, be inquisitive. I love to use TikTok to find vegetable side dishes and really give them the attention they need to get the most from them, and not just make them a boring addition to your plate. As said, I'm going to send out a list of non-starchy vegetables just to get you going. So why do we need lean protein? Well, it's really important from a health perspective, because as we age, we lose muscle. By having adequate protein, we can maintain that. But also, if we are wanting to build those thicker thighs, those perky pecs, we're going to need protein to help our body rebuild the muscle as part of the training and muscle growth process. So we're looking at 1 to 2 palms at 2+ meals. And if you are really focused on building that muscle mass, I would try for 3 meals a day. It's also great from a perspective of if we are reducing calorie intake, but we don't want to be hungry, lean protein is filling, or the fancy word is satiating, which I hate saying. It actually, and this is a minor point, but you'll see it said online, It takes more energy to digest, which is cool. But in the grand scheme of things, okay, nice to know, but not essential. We're aiming for lean protein because lean proteins are less calorie dense. So we can eat more of them for fewer calories. Whereas if you have fatty meats, the fats will increase the energy content of that and increase the calories we are eating. And like I've said, it's really important to maintain muscle mass as we age, but also in phase one, we are in a bit of a calorie deficit. So we don't want to lose muscle mass. So we want to eat enough protein so our body doesn't break down muscle. I'm going to send out this resource as well because it's going to help you to know, okay, well, I need to eat more of these kind of proteins, eat some of these and less of these. So what you'll find is often in these are highly processed meats that, you know, aren't great for our health overall, but can now and again be included. Next, carbs. I know, the enemy. Carbs. Carbs are important for energy. So we are looking for starchy carbs. So we're not looking for simple sugars, which are things like honey, maple syrup, white sugars, because the body doesn't have to do much to release the energy. The energy hits our body really quickly and it doesn't really keep us full for that long. We'll have a spike in blood sugar and then we'll kind of crash if we just have simple sugars all the time. So we do want to have carbs that our body has to digest, to process, to unlock the energy, because often they have more fiber but also just slower release of energy. As I say, I really should have clicked, shouldn't I, and just got these up. Whole grains have more fiber, and actually these foods also reduce the risk of stroke, type 2 diabetes and coronary heart disease. And also it's quick and easy energy for your brain and good for movement. So we are looking at things like whole grain bread if we can, but I'm not going to tell you to have brown bread bacon sandwich because, you know what, it just doesn't hit the same. We're looking at cereals, grains, pasta, and all these good things that are really high in fiber, like bran flakes. Great breakfast, really filling, but I do, for protein needs, often pair it with a protein pudding. I'm getting into specifics and I shouldn't be. Stay on track, Matt. So yeah, we want our starchy carbs and also our potatoes, our sweet potatoes, those kind of things fall into this as well. Final part is fats. Why do we want fats? Because they can prevent cancer, protect against heart disease. Avoiding them can increase your risk of cancer and even in some cases obesity. They transport nutrients around the body. They're also really important for hormone health. They're required for blood clotting, muscle movement and inflammation reduction, and also vitamins A, D, E, and K require fat to be able to be absorbed into the body. So you'll notice here, I said the right sort of fats. So what do I mean? You'll often have heard these spoken about, but basically your monounsaturated fats and your polyunsaturated fats, they're shown to be really good for your health. So they can be found monounsaturated in avocados, olives, olive oil, rapeseed oil, spreads made from these oils, nuts, butters, almonds, cashew nuts, hazelnuts, etc. Polyunsaturated come from oily fish, fresh tuna, not canned, salmon, mackerel, herring, trout, sardines. Also comes from corn, sesame and soya. Spreads made from these oils. And then nuts and seeds, flax seeds, pine nuts, sesame seeds, all these kind of things. So one thing we do have to be mindful of is portion, because they are energy dense. So if we're thinking about a thumb-sized portion, that should help you to have these fats, get these health benefits without going overboard in terms of calories. So I'm just going to refresh once more what make up the everyday eating. So it is majority of foods minimally processed. 1 to 3 portions of fruit and veg per meal, and it could be that you have 2 veg with your meal and then a portion of fruit afterwards. 1 to 2 palms worth of lean protein, that's 20 to 30 grams for at least 2 meals a day, really aiming for 3 in time, quarter of the plate of starchy carbs, and a thumb-sized portion of fats for flavour and health. So, we understand now what make up 80% of the time. What is next is I'm going to look at how to get organized and make sure following these principles is as easy as possible. So we have these principles to follow, these key foundations. Now, how do we make it happen? So that's what's coming up in the next videos. Ciao for now. Don't know why I said that, team. I'm really sorry.